You can grow taller after puberty by creating microfractures. Microfractures are tiny cracks in the bone matrix. Anything that creates stress or compression creates small cracks in the bone. Doing this will lead to longer bones, which is our desired goal. Now that you know the basics, let's get to the methods. Disclaimer: this is not medical advice. This is going to be a long and hard process, but I'm sure it's going to pay off in the long run. So do it at your own risk. Sprinting. Sprinting causes microfractures in the shin. Make sure you stretch in abundance before sprinting. Then sprint as fast as you possibly can for 20 to 30 seconds, then slowly come to a stop and repeat for 5 to 7 times every single day. This also helps boost your growth hormone by 700%, which is like a steroid level increase, which can result in height growth and better healing of microfractures and also more muscle growth. Also try including uphill sprints to increase the impact on your bones. Playing high impact sports such as basketball involves frequent jumping and sprinting, which can put stress on the bones. This same logic applies to playing football or any other high impact sport. This method can lead to stress fractures, particularly in the shins, feet, and knees. Make sure to stay safe and play these sports in a controlled environment to avoid injury. Maasai jumps. This technique is taken from the Maasai tribe from Kenya. This tribe consists of one of the world's tallest people, averaging 6 foot and 3 inches. They jump to incredible heights and for hours every day. Do this for 20 to 30 minutes with breaks before going to bed. All of these techniques use the concept of Wolff's law, which states that the bones adapt to the loads placed on them. You might need additional stress to cause microfractures now, so I would recommend wearing a weighted vest and performing any other exercise such as push-ups, squats, and you can even do sprinting or jumping. If you don't have a weighted vest, then I would recommend putting some weights in your school bag like books or dumbbells, basically whatever you can find to add weight. Then walk up some stairs wearing the bag, but make sure you wear the bag in front of you and not behind you. Make sure to be careful and not injure yourself. As always, go light and know when to stop. Now that we have learned how to perform microfractures, we also need to learn how to stretch the bone properly. Stretching the bone is very important to ensure that your bones grow lengthwise and not just in thickness. A good way to stretch your bone is to cycle. Start with the cycle seat high enough such that your legs are straight and not bent. Then increase your seat height after a week so that you give your legs the definitive reason to grow taller. There is another way to stretch your bone which I highly recommend. At the end of the day, after performing all of these exercises, I want you to sit on the edge of your bed wearing some ankle weights. Make sure your back is straight and straighten out your legs. Now you must feel a stretch on your bone. Try to maintain this position for some time. You can take breaks if you feel tired or exhausted, but do this before bed every single day. The same concept applies if you use banded sleeping. Bones are capable of plastic deformation. That means that the bones can change its shape and size if you force it to. One example is corsets. This is a tight stuff cloth which is worn by women. It trains their torso and hips into a desired shape. After prolonged usage, they see the desired changes in their body. Another example is foot binding. Foot binding was this Chinese custom of tightly binding the feet of girls to change their shape and size. Even ortho braces work in the exact same way. They apply pressure on your teeth so that your teeth align properly. Another real life example is Devon Lorat.
You see something? This arm is longer. You see that?
You can clearly see the difference in his arm length because he exclusively trained his right arm for 2 years. This caused a lot of microfractures due to the high tension and stress applied on his arm. This arm grew in length when he was in his 40s, which is nowhere near puberty. So don't lose hope, you can still grow taller. Remember that your bone health is your top priority. You need to eat a lot of protein and intake a good amount of calcium every single day. There is a lot of information online about techniques that can cause microfractures, but I did not include most of them since they can cause serious life-changing injuries like ligament tears and permanent irreversible joint and bone damage. I have only included the techniques that I personally use and are safe. Make sure you stay safe while doing any form of exercise. Do not ego lift and try to avoid injuries because they take a lot of time to heal. I'm stressing on this point always because it's very important. Tearing your ligaments means that you need to perform a rehab to completely heal them, which takes a lot of time, pain and effort. Serious ligament tears like tearing your ACL would need surgery to reconstruct your ACL and relearning how to walk after the surgery. So here are some injury prevention tips that I feel you should follow at all times. Focus on strengthening the muscles around the knee, especially the quadriceps and hamstrings, by doing strength training. Perform exercises that improve balance and coordination, and always follow proper movement patterns. Ensure correct techniques for jumping and landing movements in sports. Another way to increase your height naturally is to boost your growth hormone. So click on this video and I'll see you there.